Okay, thanks Devanshu, and thanks Rocket.Chat itself. This is a really amazing opportunity, and I would like start my presentation with this really thoughtful quote that over 90% of Word server run on open source software. So that essentially shows us like the importance of open source and what impact you guys are making in case you are in this community and contributing in any way possible. So, firstly, I'll introduce myself. My name is Aman Negi, and I am currently in my pre-final year in India itself. And currently, I'm a web intern at Cred. And last year, I was a Google Summer of Code contributor at Rocket.Chat. And apart from contributing, I love technology as a career as well and as a skill as well. And I also love Flutter, anime, and mountains because I belong from the mountains. So that is about me. And now I'll give you a brief about my journey and how it all started. So initially, I like in my seventh grade, I got my first Android phone, and that is what intrigued me to like learn about this tech and how it all worked. And that is when I started, like working around things. And around that time, I had explored this gap that my learning was capped by the projects that I work on. And around that time, I found out that Google Coding was a program that Google, uh, organized, and that is like my first unknown contribution to open source. And like I participated 2 years in a row, and basically we had to, it was sort of Oktoberfest, but it was done by Google. So that is where my open source contribution started. And since then I have like switched platforms and been a part of few more like open source programs like Google Summer of Code itself and GitHub Octanship as well. So those have been like a really good addition to my own career in terms of both like learning in terms of both the code and also in terms of life. And we will cover more about that. These programs are not just about code, but a lot more than that, right? So that brings me where I am today. And obviously Rocket.Chat obviously has an like major big role in this because like they were firstly, when I came in, they were really like welcoming to me. And then again, open source communities are really helpful. And Rocket.Chat mono repo was really large and I was really confused where to start. So they were really helpful and they helped me guide through it. I also tried like exploring the web part of it, the React Native part of it, and the community was really helpful and helped me understand what I should go ahead with. So that is about my journey. Now let's talk about a few key points that I take away from Google Summer of Code at Rocket.Chat. And one of them would most importantly be networking, because in these organizations, when you work, you obviously get to work with a lot of amazing people, including your mentors and the organizations, right? And as like not during only the Google Summer of Code period, but even after that, you will find these people to be helping you. And in case you have any doubts or queries, they would be always there for you. Like I have four folks, sticking around with me since 2 3 years past, who were with me in open source, in some open source organization or any community. So these friends really last long, and they also help you in case you are stuck in any bug or need help with referral somewhere. So that's another good point to that. And then another very important thing is that if you work on like your own personal projects, you would never get to know about the other things that are going on in large organizations, right? You might work on a few internships in a small companies, but then again, you would never reach to the quality of code because like small companies don't really care about the quality of code. They care more about shipping continuously and fast, right? So these things you would only learn if you were to like work under the mentorship of a large organization such as Rocket.Chat, and you have mentors who are readily available to guide you through. So that is an important thing that I have learned, is the code quality and the quality of like the product you build itself. Like initially I remember that my first PR had many reviews from my mentor, and that did like reduce since then, because I have like really taken a look into that. I ensure that the code is up to the quality, and that is something that you have to imbibe, and that is something you learn along the journey. We do not ask you to have this, but if you do have it, that's great. But if you do not, we expect you to imbibe it along the way, right? So that's about one point. Going to the next one is you get to work at scale. So like I said, in your own project you would just care about just displaying the output, right? Similar to like the answer we got just now, that in hackathon we go about hacking ways. So that is how we go about in our personal project as well, because there are no real users. Unless there are, that's good, and then you have to like figure it out and fix it. But when you get to work at scale in these companies, you have to think about users. You have to think about writing professional production level code. So that is another thing that you would get a chance into. And then obviously you get the proof of work because it is open source and your code will be published. So that's about that. You have your ownership. So that's good. And next, you as I already mentioned, industry standards are maintained. And if you like, it's just like that you can only like learn about so much, how much your company allows you to, right? If you have four people around you and they only know X, you would only know that much only. So that is why I suggest to like be a part of such communities which help you learn and grow. So that's about the experience. Now let's go into our slides, which will essentially touch upon open source as general, what you should do, what you should not do. And then again, we would go into the tips from my side for this Google Summer of Code. So firstly, I'd like to like clarify this myth that open source is not a one man show. So it is not just you working on your project. It is like your mentor helping you. You have other peoples who you will take opinions from. Yeah, your code will be reviewed by someone. You will have different meetings. You would be deciding what to go, what to take, what path to take ahead. So it is not a one man show. So that's about that. And then it is not a secret recipe. So to say that it is not that we cannot figure out what you are doing, or like we can figure out what you're doing through your GitHub and through your PRs. We can see what tasks you did, how did you achieve something. In case you are curious how your colleague did that, or you are just curious how they make that AI product, and it is open source, you can just view it, right? So it is not a secret recipe as well, and it is not also a static product. So it is not that you made it today and it is left there. You have to constantly keep on updating it as well, and that is the case with most open source communities as well. Like in Rocket.Chat also, it is quite active, and you can find that PRs are being merged every day. So that is that. And then it is not a chaotic kitchen. What it means is that it's not that I come and make changes
Aman,
according.
sorry. Sorry for the interruption, but are you changing the slides because we only see the 90% one on the presentation?
Yeah, actually, I was.
Oh,
Okay, wait. Let me represent it. Mhm. Mm, yeah. Is it visible now?
yes, we can see it now.
Yeah. So it is not a chaotic kitchen in the sense that I would not come and make any changes. It would be according to a system, according to system that the community has set up. That you have to write code this way, create folders or name folders this way. And then again, just it is not just about code. It is about communicating. It is about finding issues, fixing them. It is about discussing what the future is ahead for the product, and so on and so forth. uh, then it brings us to our next quote, that is, great things are done by a series of small things brought together. And this is in the sense that we often feel that our contributions are not big enough, or we are not making big enough changes, but that is not the case. Great things are done by small things compounding. So these, you should not feel that like the changes you are making do not matter, or this is too small of a change, or this issue is too small to fix, right? So you can go ahead and make the smallest contribution, and this can scale along the way, right? So now let's discuss upon the benefits of GSoC. and I hope my slides are shifting through. Devanshu, can you confirm once?
Yes, they are shifting.
Okay, great. So one benefit of GSoC is that you get to work on a real world project, and what that means is people will be really using your project. It's not that it would be just lying around. And then again, you would also have people reviewing your code. So that is another thing. You would not just write anything, that would be reviewed and well thought of. Then you get the opportunity to network and collaborate. So you might be assigned to review others PRs, and that is definitely a learning opportunity. And you might also get to network with a lot of people, and that is a surplus that we get in Google Summer of Code. All the lot of students or the people who come here are really experienced. If not experienced, they are really, skilled and are looking ahead to learn. So that is one skill that everyone should have, in my opinion. And the next thing is that you get growth in all terms. When I say that Google Summer of Code is not just about code, it is much more than that, right? And it is about growing as a person as well, not just in terms of as a developer, but you get to learn a lot of things aside from the development as well. Then you also get remote work experience, and like that shows how much trust the company places in you. So that is another thing. And then we have guidance from industry experts, which are our mentors and the organization experts. So you get guidance from them regarding your project, and elsewise as well you can discuss things from them. And you also get internship and job opportunities, and that is something that is ahead of that. And if the organization feels that you are a good fit for them, they might offer you a job. But that is not the case that Google Summer of Code is done for. So that is just an addition to it. uh, Now let's focus on how can you be a good contributor. So these are a few things that I've mentioned, and one of them is very important, which is ask good questions. So usually what we find is that, and usually what we find, and my project is also around it, that people ask frequently like common questions, or the questions are not well phrased, or the answer is just one Google search away. So such questions are not entertained in any community, to be honest. And it is like expected of you that you have done some research at least before stating a question. So that's about that. And you should not DM anyone. That is also a no, because we have channels for that purpose. You can like simply put in your query and whatever is needed. You might DM if the person explicitly tells you to, but otherwise it's a no. It is a good idea to follow the code of conduct. So every open source organization has a code of conduct. It is a good idea to go through it and always follow it. It is also a good idea to be patient with things in open source, because like people are like doing it along with their full-time opportunities. So that is something that you should take care of. You should be patient. What I generally say to people is wait at most a week before someone responds to you. Like you should not DM them. You should wait at least a week for them to come back to you, right? And then always like just the last thing, that go through documentations as well. That is a good thing, because open source communities and like frameworks are well maintained and documented, and there is a lot of effort that goes into it. So like don't DM someone and they would send you a documentation link. You should firstly go ahead with the documentation, find your cause or query, and only then, if you are unable to find, only then it is a good idea to DM someone. So lastly, my last point would be around communication, and I believe that is one of the major cause that like is responsible for you getting selected or you getting in. Because like let's say if you do have all the skills but you are not able to put it through, that is a lost case. And I believe that, yes, and I believe that you should research well in terms of asking questions as well. And you should like keep the communication public, just as I mentioned. And yeah, you should also understand that there is a human behind every screen. So be polite and assume good intentions always. And these are a few examples that I have created for you guys to understand that how a question should be well phrased. So instead of saying how do I do something, you should say that I'm not sure how can I do this. I checked the docs. You can also mention the references that you looked into, and then the person will be able to help you better. Um, that is another example. Like X is broken, please fix it. Instead, you should say that how did you incur the X error? What did you try to fix it, or where exactly? How can I reproduce it? So that is another thing. And yeah, last one is a quite rude one. So why can't you fix your problem? Isn't this your project? So you should never say that. But yeah, instead you should like say something like, thanks for looking into the error. I followed the suggestions. Right.